Hi, I'm Betty. Welcome to my kitchen. A few weeks ago, I had some friends in for a proper afternoon tea. That, of course, included the requisite cucumber sandwiches. I had smoked salmon sandwiches, shrimp salad sandwiches, as I recall. I had scones served with butter and raspberry jam, and a few desserts. But the hit of the party were Brandy Snaps, and that's the recipe I'm going to share with you today. So here are our ingredients. I have a cup of flour, 2/3 cup of sugar, 4 ounces or 1 stick of butter, 2 teaspoons of brandy, 1/4 cup of molasses, 1/4 cup of light corn syrup, and a teaspoon of ground ginger. And to start, I'm going to combine the sugar, the flour, and the ginger. Just give these a mix with a whisk to combine. Ginger does smell so good. Okay, and now we're off to the stove. In a small saucepan over medium heat, I've combined the molasses and corn syrup. I'm just going to mix these and let them come to a boil. Once it's come to a boil, we can just turn the heat off and add the butter. I said 4 ounces, 1 stick of butter. I'm just going to stir that until the butter is completely melted. With the butter completely melted, I can start adding the flour. Just a little bit at a time and stir it in. Just keep adding it gradually and keep stirring. It looks a little lumpy now, but it will end up as a smooth mixture. It'll be quite thick too. As promised, all the lumps are gone and we have a nice smooth mixture. And while I've been stirring this, I'm letting my oven preheat to 300 degrees. The final addition are my 2 teaspoons of brandy. After all, they wouldn't be Brandy Snaps without just a little brandy, which also adds to their flavor. We're going to spoon these out using about a teaspoon onto a parchment-lined cookie sheet. We're only going to do 6 at a time, since once they come out of the oven and cool slightly, they have to be shaped. And I'll show you a couple of different ways of shaping them. They spread quite a bit also, which is another reason you can't do too many. And I've tried foil and various other liners for the cookie sheets, and I find that parchment works the best. And you can reuse this same sheet of parchment to make all of the cookies that you'll be making with this. All right, and now they're ready to go in to the oven. They're going to bake for about 10 minutes or until they're bubbly. It's going to depend, of course, on your oven, as ovens vary greatly. But I'll set the timer for 10 minutes, and we'll check them then. My 10-minute timer has gone off, and I'm going to check these. And I can tell by looking at them, they need to go just a little more. I would say about another minute, minute and a half, and I'll check them again then. All right, it's been about another minute, and I can see these are ready. Actually, the signal is when they've stopped bubbling. Almost. I can see another bubble there, but these are ready to go. And what I'm going to do now is put them over on the stove and let them cool for just a minute or two. After they've cooled for a minute or so, you can take a small offset spatula and try lifting them. And if they're pliable without stretching too much, these might need just another few seconds. You can tell they're about ready to start rolling. And we're just going to give these just a little while longer. All right, now you can shape these in a variety of ways. You can use the handle of a wooden spoon, roll it around, give it a little seal with your finger, and slip it right off. You can use a larger mold. This is actually a cannoli mold. Wrap that around, just like so. I'll give that a pinch. Or you can use a horn mold. And just the same thing, wrap it around just like so. This makes for a very pretty presentation. And just continue with the rest of them. If they become too brittle to roll, just pop them back in the oven for a second or two. You do need to work quickly, which is why we only make 6 at a time. I've got some whipped cream already that I've placed in a disposable bag, and what I'm going to do is just cut off a small tip. And I'm going to share with you a little secret I learned recently. And this is a restaurant trick. And one of the cardinal rules in the restaurant business is waste not, want not. And this is how to get every last bit of whatever you have in a piping bag down to the very end. Just take a bench scraper, or you could use the back of a knife. And what you do is you just push down like that. And as you can see, nothing is left behind. It's a great trick. All right, so what we're going to do now is just gather this up and insert one end in and squeeze gently and just fill that. And this is the larger one made in the cannelloni mold, which of course will take a lot more cream. And this is the one done in the cream horn mold. And there you have Brandy Snaps, a beautiful addition to any dessert tray. For another way to do this, I've made this one slightly larger using a good 2 teaspoons of the batter. I'm just going to drape it over a custard cup to make a pretty little basket. Just let that set for a minute or two, and you can unmold it. Now, when you're making these, you can make them a day or two ahead, store them in an airtight container, but you can't fill them until you're just about ready to serve, because the cream will dissolve the sugar in the cookies, and they'll be a mess. So here is our finished basket. Now that should set up a minute or two longer, but I just want you to get an idea of what that would look like. Brandy Snaps. I hope you'll try this and enjoy them. For further information and even more recipes, please visit my website.